Togozani, Togozani. Can you guys hear me? Please say hi if you can hear me. Let me know you can hear me. Okay, that must be better. Please just say hello, say hi, guys, as you come in so we can boost this thing in the algorithm so more people know that I am here and we can get to the things. How's everybody doing? How are you all? Right? Gweshe. What? Mara, what name is that? I don't want to make assumptions, but it sounds like it's a Karanga name to me. You know, I'm Karanga. I'm partly Karanga. So, Gweshe. I don't know. It's not make sure. Tozani, hi, Katlego, Palesa, Pilasande, Tebelo. I know all my regulars. Yo, you guys, Mara. Pumla, hello. Hlengiwe, ninjani, ngulinda. Hlengiwe. I prefer Hlengiwe to Linda. Patsimo. Wow, I really catch your live. So like, yes, I'm well. I'm very well. I'm very well, Ketla. I hope you're good too. Lebohang, how are you? Tato, how are you? Ramadimeja. What does that mean? Because that sounds so beautiful. Balesa is the Mpo, Mpo. I'm glad you guys can hear me. Oh, I had one of my little girls in here a minute ago. She was lying on a couch that I have here in my office. But she's been sweet to say, you know what, I'll leave you. So, Zipporah, yeah, I mean, I prefer Mabato. Mabato, please. Eunice, how are you? Yes, the numbers are going up. Sonny, right? How are things? Did I pick a good time? Because it looks like there are a lot of people today. Maybe this is a better time to go live, right? Load shedding things. But then somebody was telling me that it's not consistent. Paul says I'm her favorite go-go. Oh, you're just going to make me cry. Togoza Docha. Togoza, it's Maju. Okay. Rifilwe, Vuiswa, Zozo, Ninjan. Everybody's here. You know what? Mas Togosizeni. And then we can start. Togozani, Gamaguini, Lesedi Lechanya, Tovela, Ndau Eshewe, Dumelang. Kwaziwai, Kedu, Kilode, Jambo, Muribwanji. Ninja. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you. Today we want to talk about this whole thing of consciousness and vibration. Now, the question I have is, did you all catch the space, the Twitter space? It's recorded. I think I put it up here. Mkhulu Nsingiza was on GEK, and so we had this conversation about consciousness and vibrational frequency. One thing I've noticed though sometimes, and that's why I'm doing this, it's not really a repeat, but I just want to deepen it a little bit, because I think sometimes as spiritual teachers, and I know I'm guilty of this, and I did it last week with my post about charging your water and creating moon water, because I made the assumption that everybody knew what that would mean until I read the questions, and there were questions like, hey, well, what does charging mean? How do you even do what? Like, there were so many questions around that. And I was like, no, you know what? I think a good, effective teacher is somebody who will start from baseline and break things down. And so, you know me, I teach in pictures because I am of the firm belief that Bagwantu we learn through symbolism. Our ancestors taught us things and left information for us through symbols. By nature, we respond better to pictures than we do to a string of words, particularly words in English. So I brought, I've got, as usual, some graphics to show you guys so that you understand what it is we're talking about when we talk about vibrational frequency. And before I show you that graphic, the one thing that you need to understand is that every single thing that is on this planet has its unique vibrational frequency. What is a vibrational frequency? It means it has a certain energy in it that is characteristic of that thing. And it is this vibrational frequency. Remember, you are spirit first before you are a human, right? So when you are in spirit form, you are energy. That is literally what vibrational frequency is. You are an energy. You are a spirit. You then take on a human form. And what causes you to take on a human form is a certain vibration or sound. There's a study called cymatics where they talk about this already, where a certain sound, a certain frequency of sound can shape matter. So science, you see, we are people of knowledge. We are not Adam and Eve and out of the rib came the woman, all that nonsense. It's crazy. So here you are as a spirit, right? A certain vibrational frequency or sound shapes you, taking your unique frequency into your physical form. So you, as you're sitting there, you have your own unique vibrational frequency. This is witnessed by your fingerprints, where nobody has the same print as you throughout the world. And if you look at the shape of the fingerprint, it's sacred geometry. It's the same shape that we have when your hair is bald and you've got this spiral shape. I'll teach about symbology later on, as above, so below. So now, with you now embodying a certain frequency which gives you this physicality, this thing, your body, you are still a spirit in there. And with this body, right, and you spirit in there, there comes a different range. One of the most beautiful things about being a human is the range of emotions that we have. And when I say range, I'm including even the negative emotions, because those things serve a purpose. Negative emotions are telling you that you are not in alignment, right? What does that mean? I've said it before. You suddenly feel jealous of someone. What is that telling you? It is telling you there's something in your own life that you are not taking care of. Now, if you suppress that emotion, or you take your jealousy and you project it onto the subject of your jealousy, that is wrong. That jealousy should make you sit back and ask yourself some difficult questions. Am I fulfilling my purpose? Am I doing the things I was brought here to do? Because if you are not in alignment, you will always be looking outside of yourself, seeing other people who are in alignment doing the things they're supposed to do, happy, fulfilled, prosperous, and you then get jealous. And instead of taking that as a signal to get in alignment yourself, you go outward and you attack, and you are toxic and you are poisonous. Right? So that's why I say the whole range of emotion is valid and is there for a reason. There is a time and a place for anger. Yes, you feel this anger. Your anger usually comes as a result of some injustice, either to other people or some injustice to yourself. This is your body telling you that you're being untreated fairly. You are in anger. Here's the kicker. What you do with that anger, is very important. If you're going to take your anger and then project it outward, and then you are now spitting fire, you are spitting in thamba, you are literally spreading negativity, sometimes to people who've done you no wrong, there is a problem there. And that problem we are going to talk about later on, there is a problem with what we call self-mastery, which is what we all on this spiritual journey should be aiming for. So now that I've described you and I've described these range of emotions, I want to show you guys something, right? So here is a picture, right? And in this picture, you see different, and it starts from the bottom going up. And if you look at these colors, they are very much like the colors of your 7 chakras. Go figure. We will tie that in. Those of you who are going to Kemet University and you do the crystal healing class, we will tie in a lot of things that affect this vibrational frequency, whose source are your chakras, right? So now, if you take a look at this, somebody down here is suffering and they are vibing very low. I'm going to read these out to you because I know it's switched over and I really don't know how to turn it around, right? So whatever emotion you are feeling, the more negative your emotions, the lower you vibrate. The more positive your emotions, the higher you vibrate. Okay? That's all I need for you to keep in mind. Meaning to say this. Here are some of the really negative vibration. These are the ones that are like down here. Down here. Shame, guilt, anger, jealousy, pride, fear. Those are some of them. I mean, think of all these negative, these negative emotions. They all are very low vibrational. Now, what does that actually mean in terms of your journey as an individual here on earth? If you have these low vibrational emotions, you are very much where? In your ego. So when we talk about the ego, if you're stuck on being in that ego space, you're a very low vibrational creature. How do we know somebody's in their ego? Simple. I am this person, therefore listen to me. I have a big gift, therefore I am powerful. Everything is centered around I. Everything this person does may look like it's for the collective, but in actual fact, it is for I, me, and myself. That is ego. So when you are in your egoic state, you literally think you're something you're not. As individuals or people observing such a human, how do we know that this person is low vibrational? First and foremost, what did people say? Energy doesn't lie. If you are watching a video of someone, say me, and suddenly you're like, energy doesn't lie. It means get away from that person. Because that person is going to affect your emotions. And depending on what emotions come up, will lower your vibration. Misery loves company. Right? The people that, if you're vibrating low, right? All those negative emotions. Why are you then surprised that all you seem to attract are other low vibrational creatures and entities? Like attracts like. You want to attract positive people in your life. You want to attract good things in your life, good people in your life. Vibe higher at that frequency. You will all meet there. But if you are down here with those low vibrational emotions, and you feed them. Your ego feeds those. Right? Why can't they see who I am? This one is this. oh, this one has this and this and this. You literally become insane because all you're doing, and that's the thing, you're having this conversation with yourself. You know, conversations with yourself are critical. It's probably the most important conversation you ever have is the one you have with yourself. So you're sitting there telling yourself and convincing yourself that people are out to get you. You're convincing yourself that people hate you because of your big gift, which, by the way, we don't really see because there's no outward sign that there is some big gift. And therefore, how do you know? You shall know them by their fruits. Izenzo zako. That's how we know whether you're gifted. And you don't have to go around telling people you're gifted. Let those who experience your gift be your testimonies. As long as you're busy saying, I'm gifted. And then, here's the thing. I'm gifted, I'm this. But those other people, no, they are not. They are fake. Those other people, bayatagata. Those other people, batwebula madlazi. This other one, ungenza so. Hey! If that is the fruits of your big gift, I'm just saying. So people who are in their egoic state also tend to take everything personally. Because remember, I'm important and people are out to get me. So you see somebody on their page or somewhere, they are talking their business about their business, and suddenly you feel some type of way. You feel like they are launching an attack on you. Somebody who doesn't even know you exist. But you, in your self-importance, you believe. You believe you're so important, everybody knows you. Oh, then you attack somebody who has no clue who you are, like, guys, it's literally happening. I'm not plucking stuff out of the air. I'm talking about a real person who's doing this. Ego. You are low vibrational if you're functioning in your ego. And there's no way you can convince anybody of your goodness if you vibe so low, right? Then the next stage is, so when you're controlled by ego, here's the thing. You are controlled by the outside world. You are not free. Awiyazi freedom, because the outside world determines how you feel, how you respond, how you react. Where's the freedom in that? You're trapped. The ego state is not anywhere anyone wants to be or anyone wants to stay for so long, because it is a state of suffering. You suffer when you're in your ego. You suffer. People who are in their egoic state are suffering. But it's self-inflicted pain. Ain't nobody doing nothing to you. But you won't see that because you're telling yourself a whole bunch of nonsense that you will ultimately believe. So you project outward. You're controlled by the outside world. So it's people coming together. You don't go inward to really, like, listen, if somebody, there's, my grandmother always used to say, the heart doesn't lie to itself. When you're lying in bed in the dark and silent and there's nobody there, your heart will tell you the truth about yourself. But if you don't go there, if you're not there, if you're not willing to self-analyze and to self-introspect, you will carry on in that ego state. The thing is, the ego space kills all potential. When you're in an egoic state, you kill all potential because you are vibing so low. Even if you had certain gifts, they won't ever show any fruit because of your low vibration. Does this make sense? I hope so. Let me know if it makes sense. Now, here's the thing. The next stage is this stage. the logical stage. So we've got the egoic stage, then we've got the logical stage. This is this space here, which is a little higher, just a little higher than down there in the ego space where you are suffering and you're controlled by the outside world. In the logical space, you're not controlled, but you are reactive to the outside world. You guys have heard of the saying, stay in your power. Do you know what that means? Staying in your power is one of the most difficult things to do if someone is provoking you. But when you are reactive to the provocation, you lose your power totally. Matter of fact, there goes another saying. My grandmother always used to say, if there is a madman in the street talking and screaming, and you go past him and he yells at you and screams at you, and you scream back and he screams, and you start going at each other, when people come, who is the madman? Because nyafana mos, there's no distinction between the madman and you. You were reactive to his provocation, not knowing that by being reactive to his provocation, guess what he's doing? He's taking you into his madness. So when people show up, they're two mad people. So even if you say, no, I'm actually normal, he started. He can also mimic you and say, no, he started. Okay, stalemate. Who's the mad person? You both look mad. So being reactive to the outside world keeps your vibrations low. Because being reactive to the outside world, again, means that people are controlling your emotions. Someone outside of you is controlling your emotions. Now, it's hard, but it comes with exercise. Somebody says something mean. You want to. Because we all have it in us, right? There are people here who like, oh, I will tell you your truth. I will speak my truth. We can all do that nonsense. We all can. We have it in us because we're all human beings. But then it becomes a choice. Do you want to vibrate low and close off all channels of communicating with the divine? Close off all channels of manifesting the things that you want? You don't get ahead by being low vibrational. If it's money you want, you got to raise your frequency to meet the frequency of money. Money is an energy. But if you're constantly angry, you're constantly reacting to the outside world, you're not free. And the money is up there somewhere. And you want it. And then you get frustrated. And then you look left, you look right. Other people, things seem to move. Here's what an intelligent person does, guys. Study the behaviors of successful people. Follow successful people and watch their behaviors, watch their attitudes. That'll give you a key indicator as to why they are the way they are. So rather than be jealous of someone successful, sit, take notes, bring a pen and paper wherever that person is and learn. Observe how they interact with people. Observe how they resolve conflict. Observe how they react to things in the outside world. That'll give you the key that you need. Oh, so for this person to get there, this is the roadmap. I've never heard her scream at anyone. I've actually never seen her angry. Look at those things. That doesn't mean that person doesn't get angry. It's just they stay in control. They have mastered themselves, which is at the height in terms of vibration, is when you can master you. Right? So then the third level is the spiritual. Oh, where is it? Here, spiritual. Now, see, it's starting to get nice and light. So you're vibing high. You're a spiritual person. You are free thinking and you're not conventional. You're not tied down to any sort of rules. By the way, you notice it says spiritual, not religious. Because there's no free thinking in religion. So if you are tied in religion, most likely you are vibing. I'm sorry. If you are in religion, you're most likely vibing somewhere there in the reactive outside world or even lower. That's why it's so easy for pastors to nuke you of your money. That's why your pastors can make people eat grass. Because only a low vibrational person will actually believe that eating grass will heal them. Yo. Anyway, asikho lapho. So in this space where you are free thinking, you're spiritual, this is where things like courage, right? You are courageous. You know, you have the ability to stand by your principles and your values. You have the ability to stand your ground if someone comes at you, right? Acceptance of self. Acceptance of situations and things in your life that you cannot change. And we all have those. You hear somebody saying, oh, you know what, if only I could just get out of this place, then my things will start to move. You know, this marriage, I'm stuck. I wish I could just leave this marriage, but, you know, maybe my thing. Well, nah. Everything goes on inside you, not outside of you. And when you're a spiritual person, you know this. Everything happens inside you. You could be in a jail cell. Do you know, there was a time I used to do... it was like prison ministry in my youth. Now I'm an old woman. But when I was younger, I used to go to prison to write, because I'm a writer as well, to teach a writing class for inmates. This was when I was in the UK. What was so fascinating to me is some of the happiest people I'd ever met were in jail. Behind bars. And one guy said to me, because I asked him, like, how are you able to be so joyful in a place like this? And he said something so powerful. He said, because I've forgiven myself. And because these bars aren't the prison that I was in when I was outside. When I was outside these bars, I was literally in prison. It didn't click. But as I grew on my journey, I began to understand what that means. That your external circumstances don't have to determine what goes on inside you. Self-mastery. And you can still manifest the things you want and need in circumstances that are very difficult. Yeah? So whoever you are, I don't know why I feel like I'm talking to someone about this. Like, I feel like there's someone there who needed to hear this. Whatever your circumstances, don't let those external circumstances determine the trajectory of your life. You can still fulfill your life path within those circumstances. Go within. Oh, all right. I hope you got your message, whoever you are. So, let me bring myself back to me. Then, the enlightened phase. The enlightened phase. Now, what do we mean by... This is higher consciousness. Right? This is when your... What do we call this one? Your crown chakra. Higher consciousness and self-mastery. Now, it takes a lot of work to get there. And it takes even more work to stay there. With all of these other positive frequencies, you're spiritual as you go up and so on, where you now, you know, you're finding yourself. I believe the spiritual stage is really finding yourself and aligning with your purpose. That's where the creative free thinking comes, right? It's very easy to drop from that frequency all the way back down. I'll tell you why. Because, and you know, we experience different emotions daily. Remember the live I did where I said to you guys, do not let external stimuli and everything that comes at you, don't let it make you react. There's a reason I said about that. Because what will happen is, on the frequency scale, if you allow external stimuli, you'll be going from here. Which, for manifestation and for using the law of attraction, which is like attracts like, is confusing. Because you're not sending out a consistent signal. The universe is like, what is this person doing? Right? So the idea, and I'm going to teach you some techniques, how to vibe high and to stay vibing high, right? I'm going to teach you some techniques. Yeah. So here's the thing. To stay high vibrational, like I said, takes work. That's why you find a lot of spiritual people literally make taking time to meditate a priority. A priority that is non-negotiable. 10, 15 minutes a day to center yourself at the beginning of the day. Why do I say that? Because centering yourself means you become conscious, you become aware. Therefore, when you move in awareness, you're able to self-talk differently. Meaning, somebody comes at you at the office who you've done nothing wrong to. Because you are aware and you're centered, you're not going to react. You're going to reflect first to say, I wonder where this is coming from because we were good yesterday. Okay. That's you. You're in self-mastery. Whereas before, somebody comes at you, the minute they come at you, there goes your BP. Now, you and this person are in it, and guess what? Down there. You've just been moved, or you've allowed yourself to be moved from a high vibrational state. For manifestation and the law of attraction, you need to constantly be monitoring yourself. Now, here's an important component to self-mastery. Your thoughts, the things that you think. What are thoughts? What do you guys think thoughts are? I'm asking. Answer me in the box down there. If I said to you, define thoughts, what are thoughts? What is a thought? How would you define a thought? Anyone? Just type something. How would you define a thought? Okay, I'll tell you. Thoughts are literally conversations you're having with yourself. And what did I say earlier? The most important conversation you will ever have on this planet is the one you have with yourself, because it can literally determine the sort of life you have. Did you hear me correctly? The conversations you have with self are the most important conversations you will ever have in your incarnation, because they literally determine the course of your life. How? Simple. When you are thinking, you are talking to yourself non-verbally. This is where that God-self concept comes from. The ability to speak to self is thought. We know that words are very powerful. Words cast spells. So what are you constantly telling yourself? Meaning, what are you constantly thinking? Right? So you are here and you're thinking, ish, I'm so ugly. The cosmos, your subconscious, will take that information if you're chronically thinking that. If literally every day, how many thoughts do you have a day, do you think? Billions and billions of thoughts. Let's just say 10,000 or 20,000 of those thoughts are the thought, I'm ugly. You know what your subconscious mind does? takes that out of your conscious mind, which is kind of the software, puts it in the subconscious, which is the hard drive. Your subconscious is what runs 90% of your life. 90% of your life, what you see happening around you, is run by this subconscious mind, the hard drive. That's why it is very important what you are depositing into your hard drive, because that'll determine the kind of life you're going to have. And there are a lot of people who are like, Mara, how is this happening to me? Oh, you are confused because you didn't realize that all those conversations, all those thoughts you were having and having over and over again were just being put into the hard drive. And then that is what then manifests in your life. Moreover, the thoughts that you have create emotions. So if you are thinking, ish, but I'm ugly, but I'm ugly, but I'm ugly. What emotion on this scale do you think is going to produce? Right here. It's definitely not a high vibrational one. You are somewhere here. You might actually start suffering because you're torturing your soul by telling it this lie. Your soul knows it's a lie, but your mind has filed it as fact. But your soul knows it's a lie. Your soul is saying, Hara, but no, we are not ugly. We are so beautiful, but you've put it here that you're ugly. So now you're suffering. Low vibrational. Low vibrational, that's what you send out to the cosmos. Now you're vibrating so low, all you're doing is attracting negativity around you. You're not really sending a positive signal out there. You've got this now hardwired to say you're ugly, and now you believe it because you've told yourself so many times. It's literally the program that now runs your life. How do you think your life is going to look, just given that scenario I've painted? No. Sorry, guys. Can you hear me? Give me some hearts if you can still hear me. I don't know what happened there. Somebody tried to call me. Can you guys hear? Sharp. Okay, so here we have a problem, right? I've painted this scenario where your mind is hardwired and knows, doesn't believe you're ugly. It knows, because that's what you've told it, that you are ugly. Your soul knows better and is saying, no, but we are beautiful. We are beautiful. We are made in the image and likeness of. Now you're suffering because there's this turmoil. I'm ugly. No, you're not. I'm ugly. No, we're not. I'm ugly. You're suffering. You're vibrating low. Tell me, what do you think your life is going to look like? Just let's be real. Now you're attracting people who reinforce the thing you believe about yourself, because that's the energy you send out. So now people are coming. It's ugly. Because people are now reflecting back to you what you've reflected out. They reinforce that thing in you that I'm ugly. What is it doing? Do you see the vicious cycle? Kubi. How do you get out of that? You get out of that by monitoring your thoughts, monitoring the conversations that you are having with yourself. Input good, productive stuff. How? Think positive thoughts. Counter negative thoughts with positive. Wake up, you're complaining. Hey, Marauke is low, Marauke. Flip it. Flip the perspective. Load shedding is gone. At least we get to sleep early. Some of us weren't getting enough sleep as it is. My skin is clearing up. I'm shedding weight because the cortisol levels are going down. Yabona le load shedding. Yeah, it has its negatives, but guess what? It has helped me do XYZ. Sounds crazy, but let me tell you, that is what people who are doing well in their lives are doing. You flip your perspective on situations. They give you lemons, make lemonade. Same banana. So, told you last week we were attacked. Whoa, why? What's so beautiful about that whole thing is I have content for days. I have content for days. Because for me, it was like, no, man, this experience has to produce something positive. This experience that we've just been through, there are lessons, there are powerful, valid lessons, one of which I'm teaching you guys. About how to quickly switch perspective, how to quickly switch your mindset so that you change the conversations you're having with yourself in your head. That is self-mastery. That is now higher consciousness. Actually, on this, they call it ultimate consciousness. Is when you can master yourself. You are not moved. You are constant as the northern star. Every day, it's up there. Every day, up there, same spot. Now you're truly free. Whether you are in a mkuku, whether you're in a mansion, there are people in mansions who are not free because it's all about what goes on inside of you. There are people in Mkukwini who are living their best life because they are free. There is what Mkulu always calls it, free flow. Right? That's it. So let's circle back because everything I've talked about has to do with you. Right? Everything. Not what other people say, not what other people are doing. It's got to do with you. Some key things to change the conversations you're having with yourself in your head, to change your thoughts. Number one, positive affirmations. And you guys, you think it looks corny when, when people are doing it. I want to teach you something. Look in a mirror, right? I look like I'm looking in a mirror because my image is reflected back to me. Now, remember something about mirrors are very powerful. Why? Because it reflects back what you give it. Exactly. That's why people say mirrors don't lie. The camera doesn't lie. Right? As I'm speaking, I'm seeing me in real time. Take a mirror and talk to yourself in the mirror. Positive affirmations. I am beautiful. I'm unique. There's no one else like me. I am funny. I am caring. Speak those things so that those are the conversations that you're having. Because remember, when you're talking to the mirror, you're talking to yourself. You can start there. Start by talking to yourself externally in the mirror. Those things, as you say them repetitively, become your silent conversations with self. So start basic, positive daily affirmations. And don't go looking for what affirmations can I use for myself. Come on now. This requires you to study you. And a lot of us, you see, that's what I always say, that negativity is rife. Most people, if you ask them to tell you about themselves, the first things they'll tell you are the negative things about themselves or the things they don't like. So I'm challenging you to take a piece of paper and to sit down and write the things that you really like about yourself. If you find yourself struggling to write those down and find the negative ones are the ones that want to force their way onto paper, let me tell you something. You have a chronically negative thought pattern. Very rarely do you think good things about yourself. So you want to work on that. Start with positive affirmations in the mirror. While you're doing your face and brushing your teeth, I'm pretty, I'm gorgeous, I'm powerful, I am God, I am positive things. Keep saying it until it sinks in. Do it with your kids too. Our kids are bombarded by media images that make them feel worthless. They are bombarded, mahua everywhere. You've got little brown babies saying, I wish I had hair like this, I wish I was white. Have your children learn to do positive affirmations. Do it with them. Do a call and response. I am beautiful, she says, I am beautiful. I am a star. She says, I am a star. If this is done from a young age, by the time she gets to 15, 16, you can't touch her. It puts her on a good trajectory, or him for that matter. I'm not being sexist, it's just that I have 4 girls. So my reference whenever it comes to children are girls. Right? So teach your kids positive affirmations. Do it with them to begin with until it becomes second nature to them. That becomes the conversation they have in their head. Even if somebody at school is to say, "Ooh, you are so ugly," or "What's wrong with your hair?" Especially our hair, especially if you're in the West, especially if your kids go to these stupid private schools full of mahua. You know your kids are going to have issues about self-image. Whether it's somebody who says it outright to them, that something's wrong with their hair or their skin, or whether it's something they pick up in the energy that is being given them, it's going to affect them. So work with your kids, strengthen your children at home. It's very important. Now, you're not going to be able to do that for your kid if you can't do it for yourself. Because then, you know, kids are spirit beings that are most pure. They'll pick up on the phoniness. And then it'll become a phony exercise to them, in which case nothing happens. It's very important how you carry yourself around your children, because children learn by what they see, not by what they hear. So you can't tell your daughter, "Oh my gosh, you're so beautiful." Meanwhile, you think you're ugly. Or when she compliments you back, you say, "No, not really. You know, I wish my nose was smaller." We should stop that nonsense. We need to stop that. We're damaging our children. And literally it's almost like we are helping the system. We are helping the colonizer and the enslaver. We are helping them do their job, because by the time our kids go out there to them, the damage has been done in the house. I know parents who tell their children these kind of things. I know parents who compare their children based on these kind of things. Do you know that to your children you are God? Therefore, what you say is. So never mind the conversation she's having. The conversation you're having is. Because if God, i.e. my mother, says, "I am ugly, I am loud, I am..." That's it. Internalized. I want you guys to really reflect on that. So by the time they're out the door to your fancy private school, they are putty in the hands of the colonizers. They're ready to believe any and everything they hear negative about Tina Bagwantu, because you prep them at home. So what they hear is affirming what you did at home. "Yeah, we are ugly. Yeah, we come from it's a dark continent." All that stuff they now take in. Whereas if they go out the door and you've built them up, that stuff will bounce off of them, literally. They'll hear it and it's like, not true, not true, not true. Do you see? I hope you understand what I'm saying, guys. So the importance of positive affirmations. The importance of self-forgiveness. Are you guys aware that for everything that has ever been done to you, there is a part of you that blames yourself? You may not be aware of this. You know, there are obvious cases. For example, the easiest thing to blame yourself is, especially if you're a woman, is if you have been assaulted sexually. I don't want to say the words because Facebook will shut this down yesterday. There are a bunch of... never mind. But you know what I mean, right? So you've been assaulted, you've been violated, even as a little girl. There is a part of you that believes you were at fault. That's why victim blaming is evil, because what happens is you're already blaming somebody who blames themselves, even if they're not aware of it. So self-forgiveness for things that have happened to you, because a part of you knows that somewhere, somehow you were complicit. You got to say sorry and let it go and forgive yourself. Because not forgiving yourself is what feeds these conversations you have with yourself in your head. I am not worthy. I am dirty. I am shameful. All those negative things, you'll never vibrate high if you don't forgive yourself. For whatever it is you feel you did, for whatever it is was done to you, you have to start with forgiveness of self. Even before you can forgive someone else, that forgiveness, you need to extend it to you first. When you're all right with you, then you can forgive someone else. Because if you think you're forgiving someone else, you're paying lip service. You can't give someone what you don't have. So it starts with you. Guys, in this life, in this world, as we are spirits having a human experience, everything tracks back to self. Everything. That's why people scoff when I say you are the creator of your existence. You are God. People are like, hey. But that's the truth. Facts. I'm laying it to you out. There's no external deity out there that is charting your life and causing him. And I hear people say, why? What have I done to deserve this? Why has God forsaken me? That's why you see religion in nonsense. God forsaken you. Oh. God can forsake you. This all-pervasive cosmos and its richness can forsake you. How? You are in it. You are of it. You are it. So how have you been forsaken? It's about changing the way you perceive the world, the cosmos, and yourself. So forgiveness of self. Self-acceptance. Self-acceptance actually falls quite high, around 350 hertz on this frequency scale. Right? You're vibing high if you have self-acceptance, because it's work to get to a point of self-acceptance, except if you grew up in an environment that nurtured you, that nurtured that love of self. What does self-acceptance mean? It means I can look in the mirror and I can see that my teeth are crooked and love me anyway, and think that is a part of me and I love it. It means that you can look at your big thighs or your big tummy and you can tell, and you can love you because you accept it. It's you. It's part of your makeup. It's a part of who you are. It's a very high vibing place to be when you are in self-acceptance. You know why it's so beautiful too? Nobody can use those perceived weaknesses against you to bring you down. Somebody says, yo, maroon kaba, hey, you are fat. It's not going to move you because you accept yourself. The only way that will anger you or make you feel some type of way is if you yourself are not in a place of self-acceptance. And I always say, if there's something that you can shift about yourself, that you can change, do it. If that is what will get you to self-acceptance. But my understanding and my knowledge, and I speak from experience, is you cannot change that which you don't accept. So if I don't accept and love me in my chubby hubbiness, what are the chances that I will succeed in getting rid of the weight? And what are the chances that when I've lost all that, I will accept myself? See, self-acceptance is deeper than what you think. It's about being comfortable and at home in you and with you. Now, there are people lost 100 pounds, look absolutely, in their view, on the external, they look stunning, only to pick it all back again. Because they still didn't accept themselves even at that. Why? Because it's deeper. They're not at home with them, in them. Self-acceptance, very important. Self-respect is also very important. Do you respect yourself? What does that look like for you? How do you define self-respect? Because if you want other people to respect you, remember, like attracts like, then you got to be respecting you. What does that look like? it'll look different to different people. For me, there are certain things I've told myself I will not do, I will never be seen doing, I will not do in private because I respect myself. Got nothing to do with anyone else out there, me. So that if someone comes at you from the angle of perceived weakness, you're not going to feel any type of way because it doesn't apply. Because you respect yourself. So, that's an exercise you can do. This is all exercise. I'm giving you homework. That's why I'm bringing these things up. Take it seriously if you really want to see your life change, because it will. You know, sit with yourself and ask, what does self-respect look like for me? Because once you've defined that for you, and you start respecting yourself and honoring the promises you make yourself, everything outside of you will align. And everyone outside of you will respect you the same way you respect yourself. Now, if somebody comes across as disrespectful, it won't move you from where you are because first and foremost, you have that deep respect for self. Someone disrespects you, it's not a reflection on you, it's a reflection on them. Somebody insults you, it's a reflection on them, not a reflection on you. Because you respect yourself and you know who you are. Does that make sense? Right. Self-love goes along with the self-respect. Hey, self-love is hard for a lot of people. Because the thing is, if you don't accept yourself, then how are you going to love yourself? Right? If you don't respect yourself, how are you going to love yourself? Because you're constantly criticizing you. You're constantly looking down on you. Now, listen, that's not to say that you're perfect. Nobody is. But love yourself, respect yourself, accept yourself in that imperfect state. Because you know what? That is the key to changing and transforming. You will want to do better by you. You will want to do right by yourself. Once you love and accept yourself, bad habits fall away once you've accepted who you are and love yourself enough. You will look at alcohol and you'll tell yourself, I'm not doing that to my liver. I'm not doing that to me. No. Certain behaviors you used to engage in suddenly aren't appealing anymore. Because you respect yourself and you love yourself enough to say, I'm not engaging in that anymore. That's why I always say to people, do not hold people's past against them. That is the most cruel and evil thing you can do to someone. And you have no right to do that. Because people do grow and people do change. I've mentored young women who were on the streets. I've mentored young women who were strippers, who have transformed their lives, who are much better characters than some people I know in church. But every now and then there comes that sneaky, arrogant, ego fool who wants to remind them of their past. Posting nudes or in a comment saying, oh yeah, I remember them days, girl, you changed. Remember them days, foot tag by yourself. Why you gotta take me back there? There's nothing back there for me. I'm a new creature, I'm here now. Because I've worked on myself. So self-acceptance and self-respect and self-love becomes really strong if you're coming from a position like that, because constantly you are always going to have to be defending. And you don't have to. Constantly you're always going to have to be feeling low. You don't have to. If you've mastered self and if you've accepted yourself, you don't have to worry about defending yourself, defending your honor. Your honor defends itself. And I always say, who don't have past? Who doesn't have a past? Ah, guys, if we're to open people's cupboards, yeah, the skeletons that will fall out, yo, gosyam. We would have juicy gossip for days. And it's usually those judgmental characters who have skeletons in their cupboard themselves. And instead of introspecting, they project outwards and make other people, or try to make other people feel bad for their past. If you're one of those people who engages in that, unfollow me and block me. Because I can't stand people who do that to others. It's cruel. It's mean-spirited. Most times you don't even have the full history of why this person was on the street selling their body. Could have been to feed kids. Could have been to provide money for a mother who was dying. It could have been any of those things, but you choose to keep throwing that thing in her face or their face. By the way, there are men on the streets too. I'm not trying to be sexist. But let's be, you know, let's have balance. There are men on the streets too. I just use the feminine because I'm a woman. So please, guys, don't feel excluded in the conversation. I know that there are you who's also been on the streets and you have your stories. Yeah. The importance of self-care is the last one I want to talk about. Why? Because self-care flows from self-acceptance, flows from self-love, flows from self-respect. Then you get your self-care. That's why I said you can't change what you don't accept. Got to go through all that and then your behaviors will change, which is what self-care is. All right? Now, I'm done. Like, this has been long, hey? Thank you for those who stuck it out. Yeah, I really appreciate it. Please do share out. Save it. Save it. You know, there's a lot of goodies in here. You might want to come back and just take out one thing at a time to work on. One thing at a time to work on. But I wish you all that is good, that is beautiful, that is everything that we as Bagwantu were created to receive. I wish you all those things. And remember, we're in the season of Heru, meaning we are ascending. Meaning we are ascending, right? We are ascending. What does that also mean? Set, the energy of the destroyer, the energy of umbidlizi, the energy of confusion, the energy of chaos is also around. How do we know we are ascending? The only way you know you're ascending is obviously if something comes and tries to knock you down. So as you learn your lessons, please do not be surprised that you will be challenged. Expect it. Because the only way we'll know whether you learned your lesson is if you're challenged. Right? Like, we only know that you learned your material if you take a test in school. So tests are always going to be there. Remember, switch your perspective. I love you guys so much and take care. See you soon.